into the Matrix. So. Oh, I'm in the Matrix now. They got audio. It's okay at the moment. It's quite nice, actually. Oh yeah, for when that's going to be the issue later. Right now, it's just music, so it's fine. But when I'm talking to myself, it's an issue. Oh, it's now mine. Okay, thank you for. Oh, so is this a purchased one now? Oh, great. Okay, perfect. Okay. to go. Perfect. Matt Kesby. I'm the founder at GoTeam, and it's a great privilege to be sharing some amazing new content with you, and we'll be punching it out daily as the months come up to speed here. Now, this particular live stream is actually our first test. So if you're joining us, and chances are one of your friends, you're a friend of GoTeam, we're really stoked to have you here. We are in one of our Better Together studios, and is our new live stream locations. Today, I'm going to take you through some of the basics around using AI as part of our test broadcast today. So even if you are here watching and joining us to support in that test, I'm going to make sure you go home with something really useful that you can apply. So let's get started. And here at GoTeam, one of the things that we're moving towards is actually helping people to understand how to apply AI at work. You see, most of us these days have definitely touched ChatGPT to some aspect. If you haven't, then no doubt you're living under a rock. But most, when I have a chat with them, they're like, yeah, I kind of use it a bit. It's a bit of fun, and I might use it at home as well, but I'm not quite getting to that next level. And so if that's where you're at the moment, the good news is we're here to help you out. We don't want to see you get left behind, especially at the rate of change, the pace that's happening with AI. And so let's get into it. And for us ourselves, we've been, I know I personally had my moment in January 2023 when I found out about ChatGPT, and I was like, oh my gosh, I felt late to the party because it was, of course, November that it became available. And the great news is that in that moment, you know, when you have that, and if you might even have this at the moment in your jobs or careers, and you think, oh, will AI take my job? You have that sort of oh crap moment. That's a really normal response to have when you see a big change, whatever it is in life. And when you get there, and of course, like any big changing moment, it's like, how do you approach it? And is it going to be a concern for you, or will you turn it into an opportunity? And right now, it is probably one of the largest opportunities you'll see in your career with these changes that are happening right now. And I've heard many leaders say, and I firmly believe this, that people won't lose their jobs to AI, but they will be at risk of losing their jobs to people who are empowered with AI. And so here at GoTeam, we've now run 2 Innovate Summits so far. We did one in August last year and another just now in January it was. Our Innovate Empowering with AI conferences with speakers coming in from around the world and bringing together our development teams and senior leaders to be able to look at what are these next advancements in AI and how we're going to bring them to you to help support you and your careers to absolutely flourish with AI. So let's do a little 2-minute recap on our recent session at the Innovate Conference. And a very big thank you to our speakers. We had Nicholas Ning from Farpoint, a leading international AI consulting firm, really sharing with us the macro positioning of where AI is at, that then kind of allowed us to distill down into what our current picture is. We had Rory Flynn, the Midjourney master, come back again. Rory's such a great friend and almost part of the team soon here at GoTeam. We love it when Rory comes and presents. He's often on the world stage in places like the Affiliate World, just completely melting people's brains with what's possible with Midjourney and creating all those images. We got to hear from Megan Watkins from CEO Coaching International as she shared with us, just these challenges that businesses are facing, but also seeing the excitement and the opportunity, and really kind of figuring out how do you close that AI skills and execution gap. Well, one thing's for sure, our AI-powered People YouTube channel is 100% here to help you with closing that skills execution gap. And we also heard from Dave Watts from Hive Technologies as we look at understanding more about GPUs and the importance of compute power for running all of this AI that's taking over the world. Well, we might as well start where it all began for most of us with ChatGPT and kind of get a little moment of understanding. Now, most of you will have seen what it looks like on that left-hand side of the screen for you with ChatGPT interface. And ChatGPT is a large language model. And if you're using the more recent version, ChatGPT 4, and you'll be paying for that, that is a language model that's been built on 1.6 trillion data points or parameters. And what that means for us, it is currently the world's largest large language model. However, there are more coming out, and they are chomping at the heels of what is the current reigning master. And, I often look at ChatGPT, and I love how a few leaders have shared some insights with me. And I kind of think of it in this as this big circle, this big sort of view of this giant pool of trained data that ChatGPT presents to us. It's got everything in there. It's got, biology and psychology and mathematics and coding and Greek mythology, and there's just so much information there. And it's also got the perspectives of, like, the way I see it, as the world's leading consultants. You might have like a McKinsey consultant and Bain and Company and a professor of physics, and you just keep creating that list for you, right? And think about, wow, it's like all these intelligent people, all these consultants, all these masters, these educators are all now available to us in this one location. And where previously we might have gone off to Google and so forth to try and find something, or if you're old enough, you went to the library, right, back in the day. Now we've got the ability to access information. However, there is an important part about working with a large language model that's useful to know. And that is that the responses that are coming out based on the architecture of these language models are actually predicting the next letter each time. I like to think of it a different way. It's a little bit like dreaming out the answer is what's coming from the language model. And that's really quite a useful way to think about it, because unlike when you're querying a database to get some information back, when you do that, you get the same answer every time. When you work with a large language model and AI, it's more like talking with a human. Just think about it. Artificial intelligence versus straight up intelligence. Put it to you this way: if we were going to have a conversation with a friend and we asked them a question and they gave us an answer today, and we were able to transcribe that or write it down word for word, and we had the same question asked to them the following day, would their answer be word for word exactly the same? Now, if you're there at home in the chat, you can answer that one for me and pop it in the chat. But of course, I want to always set you up with some easy questions to start with. Of course, the answer is no. There's very rarely is a human being able to give the specific same words in the same order 2 days apart, 3 days apart, 10 days apart, and so forth. And so if we start to think about ChatGPT or the large language models to be just like we're speaking with a human, then we can become more accepting about the fact that the responses are going to be a little bit different each time. Now, that's great, but it's not always useful in business. It's fantastic for creativity, but perhaps you're looking for some more specific answers, especially you might be thinking about company data as well. Well, before I get to the company data part, what's also useful to understand here is that as you're asking those questions, it can be quite creative, and that can be wonderful. In fact, it can be super creative, and that can be adjusted as well in ChatGPT, especially if you're going to be accessing it via an API. That concept is actually called temperature, and so you can get it to be like wildly creative. It's pulling parameters and data points from all sorts of areas. Some people will talk about the AI hallucinating, and I think if we start to think about this as this dream concept, the more creative that it gets, the more it's going to hallucinate. Now, there's a few other things going on with ChatGPT right now from my perspective, and certainly monitoring what's happening on the chat out there on X, Twitter, Facebook groups, and so forth. Some people will be saying things like ChatGPT seems to be getting dumber. Like the responses that are coming out are just not as great as they were 6 months and 12 months ago. And then, maybe that's the case, maybe not. But here are some considerations. Like you would have started on ChatGPT 3.5 and maybe then 3.5 Turbo, and now it's on 4. And there's no doubt that 4 is still the king, right? It's getting the best responses. However, keep this in mind. If you've got a paid subscription, you're spending $20 per month. Every time you ask a question, it needs to go off to the large language model, and there's a compute done. Now, that is called inference on the large language model. And as it runs inference, it's also running the GPU, the graphical processing unit. So rather than a CPU, it's really the graphical processing unit. And what it's doing there is it's costing electricity, right? It's actually taking money and energy to be able to make that response. So there is a cost to run it. And if you're using the ChatGPT via an API, which stands for Application Program Interface, you'll be getting charged a token or usage, kind of like the words or word count that you use, kind of is how you get charged. But if you're just an online user via your phone or your computer, you get $20 a month, kind of unlimited access, not quite. You get prioritization. They do throttle you a bit. But chances are what's happening at the moment with ChatGPT is because of the global demand, there's a lot of tax on their infrastructure. And so it seems like the answers that are coming out are getting shorter and a little bit more basic. So it's not using as much of that compute time. So what does that mean for you? Well, it means that it requires us to move from what's known as zero-shot prompting. That's when you just do one prompt, like one question, to now to be considering multi-shot prompting. So to actually keep asking the questions until you get the result that you're after. Now, one of the ways to actually make that simpler is to get more sophisticated with your prompting. I'm going to help you with that today. Another way to look at it is to be able to have greater control within your organization and actually have your own ChatGPT interface and utilize their APIs. Now, that's what we do here at GoTeam. In fact, back in April of 2023, our development team actually came to me and said, can we have ChatGPT Premium, please? And at $20 for a single user, I went, yeah, sure. And then added it up for all the team members and said, hang on a moment, let's look at this from a different perspective. So we've built our own interface, and it's got some additional benefits, so I'm going to show with you today as well, so that the team members, so over 1,000 team members, can all access ChatGPT and help progress their careers forward by accessing the AI on a daily basis. So on the left here, we've got ChatGPT, and on the right is the GoTeam chatbot, which is currently running, depends on which team. Some are using 3.5, some are using 4. And in that, they prompt away, right? Now, if you'd like to learn a bit about prompting, we'd love to share with you the ultimate guide to AI prompt engineering with ChatGPT. We call this one Mastering the Machine, and it's available on Amazon. It's a simple read, and there's lots of structure in there that's going to help you out. We'll also share with you a range of other tools that we have here at GoTeam, and which we apply the AI to. Also, if you're live in the chat there, we're happy to send you a free copy. We'll give you a free PDF download as well as thanks for being here today. In fact, let's give it to everyone. Let's add that PDF link in, and we'll add the PDF to you later on. And if we don't get the PDF to you straight away, please just reach out and we'll ensure that you get a copy. Now, why might you consider having your own ChatGPT version in your business where you actually have got your own interface, and from that interface, you're using the Application Program Interface, the API, to connect into OpenAI's ChatGPT. Mouthful sometimes. Why would we do it? Well, one of the reasons for business is cost. It can be much more cost effective for you to access it directly. Then you're only paying for tokens, and you're not paying for the monthly seat licenses that may be sitting dormant. That's one of the reasons. But there's another one that's, to me, more powerful. In fact, it's actually two when you think about it. One is that now if you're on the enterprise version of ChatGPT. We're guided. We are given some safety in being told that our information that we put in will not be used to train the large language model. To train means that your company data or any personally identifiable information that you might put in, it needs to go off to the language model. Now, if it is then stored there for training, the problem is that you will have broken your privacy policies with your organization and your customers and so forth. Now, at this level of architecture, it's beyond my ability to give you any advice on this one. And also, what happens behind in an organization, it's not up to us to know either. And that's why you have things like privacy policies and terms and conditions. But what actually happens behind the scenes, well, that one is not for us to know. And to me, one of the things I find fascinating about these large language models was those moments when they found out that it could code in Python, the moments when they found out that it could translate to Portuguese, and no one had any idea of why it was so capable to do that and so successful. And so when there's still a few questions on how some of these things work, I think as a business owner, it's very prudent to be cautious in the early days until these things are really understood in full detail. So that's why for us, we prefer to take an approach. Our first approach right now is certainly where we're going via the API, where we've got some more strength in the security. And then in the near future, it's actually moving to open source models that you can actually have hosted for yourself, just for your business data, and there's no concern about that leakage. More will follow on that as the months progress, and you're going to hear about it first here on the AI Powered People channel. Now, back to the business data. So here's the thing. We don't want our data to go into these large language models that are public because of risk, but we do want it to be in there for greater utilization so we can have it learn from our information and give us more useful responses. So there is an approach that is going to help to get there. And there are two, in fact, but the one that we'll talk about today is called, in fact, there's more than two, but the one that we'll talk about today is called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG for short. Now, I'm going to get my geek on for a little bit, but my intention is to share this in a way that you don't have to be a software developer, programmer, AI, machine learning expert. All these sessions are absolutely for us doing the business, right? And actually running our organizations, working in our organizations as non-developers. That being said, I think it's important that we're always raising our standards with our knowledge, and we're thinking about how we can understand these concepts to benefit going forward. The retrieval augmented generation is a approach where the data that you have in your organization goes into a very special type of database called a vector database. Now, most databases are full of tables. They look like Excel spreadsheets, if you will. But in this one, they're actually going to get converted into vectors, or said differently, arrays of numbers, kind of like a longitude and latitude is another way to think about it, kind of. And what happens is that then goes onto a graph for the machine to understand better. Now, for us as humans, our minds would melt trying to look at the information the way it's displayed from the machine's perspective, but the machine loves it. So give the machine what it wants, give the machine what it needs. And this way, when we ask a question using our corporate chat, like with the GoTeam chatbot, it can be augmented with additional information, and the actual generation of the text can be retrieved from the vector database to actually give us precision and accurate responses that are relevant to what our needs are. There's another version of it called Raptor, which goes deeper. It actually looks into the tree diagrams, like file diagrams, but we'll talk about that on another session, which we'll do separately just for understanding these approaches. Now, what we've done at GoTeam is we do a lot around because we are a people and technology organization, right? So we have over 1,000 team members, majority of which are actually working for clients full time around the world in all sorts of roles like marketing, sales, customer service operations, IT, software development, accounting, engineering, drafting, you name it, human resources. If you would like to have a team member who's bright, enthusiastic, and working generally for about 40% of the cost onshore, then we can get you full-time team members that can help you to your business to scale and certainly all your people to exceed. Now, our team members here at GoTeam, we do a few things. We utilize some AI called Crystal Knows, which helps us to understand our personality profiles and where we are sort of energized most in the type of roles that we do. And that's the Crystal Knows team. Big shout out to them. We love you guys. I think we're one of the highest users of Crystal Knows in the world at the moment. And we also really appreciate that because it gives us the DISC personality profiling insights. Now, we actually merge that with another approach, which is using bird personality profiles and from tick.com.au. And we often look at that. It's a bit easier to learn it and digest it. And so for us as individuals, you might be like, I'm a high D, which is dominant on the DISC profile. And that equates to being like an animal, a bird, like an eagle. And then you have your I for your influencer, which is like a peacock. Your C for your C for the which is that more family conscientious. There it goes. Is the more family orientated people, which connects to like a dove. And then you've got your I, which is and then you've got your so your S, your stabilizer, which is like your dove, and your conscientious, which is a detail orientated person, which is like an owl. And so we've actually infused these concepts within our chatbot so that when you're asking a question, you can actually have it respond in your personality profile style. But of course, you can prompt the language model to do these things differently. And when you're prompting, what you might find over time is that you come up with some good prompts that you really like, that are really useful. And then days or weeks later, you go back to the AI to ask a question, and you may have forgotten that prompt, or you need to have a look through in detail to find where it is in some previous chat history. Now, if you've been using ChatGPT for a while, you'll know that sometimes that history goes down, right? And you can't go back and find it. And that can be quite frustrating for you. So another way to approach this is actually to start to create prompt templates. Now, prompt templates are things that are essentially a list of a prompt, and you can do it manually by just saving your own like text documents and files, or you can use something like our GoTeam Chat GPT bot, and you can build out prompt templates. Here's an example here on the left-hand side where we see custom prompt templates for ease of reuse. And under the chat area, we've got categories like marketing and sales and product delivery and operations and so forth. And if we would click on marketing, we'd see some options here and a prompt template. Let's actually have a look at it here live. So if we go and create ourselves a new chat, we can see that we can use this just like ChatGPT, or we can click on our prompt templates that are located here, and you can go through the ones that have been pre-built out. Now, the way this works is today we've got another system called Do This Too, and you can build out those prompt templates there, and they appear in our chatbot. Now, coming shortly, you'll actually be able to do all of that inside the chatbot itself as well. Let's have a look at this first one here. Actually, we're going to do today, let's do one in the people area. So I've got a few different items that have been done before. Position description with Big Five, DISC fit recommendation, overcoming client objections, job descriptions, motivational coach, screening questions generator. So a few different things. Well, let's have a look at job descriptions as an example. So you could do it super basic, right? And just have a couple of parameters like position title. Might put in PHP developer and years of experience 5. And there's a big prompt here that's been pre-done for us. I could simply click on use prompt, confirm, and that will now take that prompt. So those two fields that we had, they'll then get put into the prompt for us. send it off to ChatGPT, and voila, here comes back the answer. So there's a job description with the responsibilities, qualifications, skills, abilities, experience, so forth. That's great. And so that can be quite useful. And that really often, if it's the first time you've done something like that, I still remember it's like magic as it comes out. If you think if you've ever written a position description before, just how much time it takes. Now, what's interesting is that you can go from creating the prompt, you can go from just prompting and prompt engineering to get your responses out. You can then move to using your prompt templates. Then we get to a point where we want to have an elevated success on this and we want more detail. And they're the times when we start to move towards tools that are actually infused with ChatGPT. Now, at GoTeam, we've actually got a strategic workforce plan that helps us out to plan out positions to help our clients to scale up their businesses. And we use the AI to make recommendations of the types of roles that work really well offshore. And you may be very surprised at what's possible. And I often think now it's time to move away from thinking onshore and offshore and just think more about global team, because that's really where we're at now, global teams. We're so remotely distributed since COVID. It sort of woke us up to the fact that, yeah, we can work remotely. Now, I still firmly believe at times getting back together, it certainly is better together when you gather, but a lot of other times we're on the tools and work remotely. Now, the way the strategic workforce planning tool works here is it actually allows you to add some just very high level columns for departments. It's not intended to be a org chart planning tool. It's intended to actually just get the ideas generated. And so in marketing, you might have things like marketing manager and digital marketing manager and content writer and so forth. And you can actually just type in and brainstorm out these items. Or let's start in a fresh one with sales, and we can just use generate positions, and we utilize the AI to do the brainstorming for us about the types of roles that are really useful when you're in a globally distributed team. Now, naturally, in some different departments and organizations, if it's a hands-on role, then it's no good for being a global team member. So the AI is going to help us with that. Now let's take an example here, and you'll notice some funny numbers here. Let's look at business development. We've got a 0 here, which you can put in the number of team members that you currently have in that role. You could make a note if you're hiring. You can turn on candidate matching, so it can actually look and search for suitable candidates that we have here at GoTeam that could help fill that position if you're hiring. And we also have an AI position description builder, which now takes us beyond just the standard prompt engineering. And we've done the work for you to actually help take this to a very advanced level. So let's have a look at how it works. You can either use a template, or you can start from blank with the AI itself. And you'll notice we'll get here to what's a very common view, like what you'd see on a job board, where it's asking for a job description. Now, I don't know about you, but I've gone many times in the past to write a job description. It's like, ugh. And you have that moment where it suddenly got hard. I know I need the role filled. It's really urgent for me. But man, when I need to start typing what the actual description is, it just slows me down. Now, in psychology, this is called the approach avoidance conflict. And it's the moment when we know we've got to do something, we're excited to do it. We get to that computer, and technically what happens is your norepinephrine in your brain raises right up, which is useful because it's going to get you into the activity. But if it gets too high before dopamine is released, that reward function to actually encourage you to keep going through to the end, if not enough dopamine's released, then procrastination hits, and we find that it's easier to go off and go to the fridge for a snack, or make a coffee, or check our phones, or do something else that's anything but the task. So this, to me, is where the real power of AI comes in those moments. Like if you're going to have a bit of writer's block, or you're going to get some procrastination occurring, click on the Generate with AI button, and it will start to write out for you. Now what happens is you can shift from doing the heavy lifting to now being more like the editor of a book. You don't have to be the writer, you get to be the editor. And so you can start making some changes and get started. Now this one here is actually for us if you're going to be ordering a team member to join your team through our organization. So I'm just going to fill out a couple of items here. and then we'll jump into filling out the rest. Let's say that starts at 7 a.m. Okay, we're going to save and continue. Oh, we might do work from. And now this will take us into the job competency area where you can start to complete things like tasks and objectives. And once again, you can quite simply turn to the power of AI to help write ideas for those tasks and objectives. As this writes these out for you, like I've found consistently that it opens my mind up to further ways to enhance these roles. Now, from this, it'll show a list for us. Now, we can further prompt these later if we want to. We can add some additional prompting. We've got a section for skills. It can write, give us ideas around skills. You can further prompt it so that it's going to have a more enhanced view of those skills for you as well. It's going to start writing those out for you. And then we've got OKRs. Now, if you're using OKRs at work, you'll see that what we do is one step further, which is OKRX. So O stands for objective. The KR is for the key result. That's the outcome that you're looking for. But then there's really interesting, now differentiated with OKRX is that the X, which stands for X factor, is the behaviors that when done with quantity, quality, and consistency are the best bet for actually delivering upon that key result. Now, I've spent over a decade in this space working with a global consulting organization who had a similar framework that really looked at the behavioral type metrics. And one thing's for sure, coming up with these are one of the hardest things to do, yet the most impactful in forecasting your ability to achieve your results. So it makes sense for us to actually do the work here to figure these things out. But we didn't learn this at school. We didn't learn it at university. It's very hard to learn about it online. Most of that knowledge is wrapped up in some very big, expensive consulting hours. But we have democratized it here for you and got it available to access. So you can add those in. Look, there's KPIs and processes and procedures and tasks. They're all available to actually write out these position descriptions. And all that data we utilize to then find the best fit match for suitable available talent to help your organization. Okay, now that's an example of how AI can be baked into software products to really drive some incredible outcomes and save you a huge amount of time. But going back to what we were talking about before with prompt engineering, we can also look at tools that are going to give us a template builder, so a no-code prompt template builder, which we have available today in our do this.to system. So do this to achieve that is how we show this one. And in do this to, you can simply enter the area and start creating a prompt template. Let's do one together very quickly. We're going to go down to the prompt template section. As mentioned earlier, soon this is going to live inside our chatbot, so you won't have to go off to another site. It'll be inside it. Here we've got some prompt templates. So the great thing with a prompt template is that you can then share it with everyone else in the organization, or you can keep it private for yourself as well. And so we have got some categories here that we've built out. We've got marketing, sales, product delivery, operations, finance, people or HR, others, communication, documentation. We often like to think and set these things up in a department style approach so that they nest together. And as you start to apply your AI strategy, one of the things that will really help you is if you're thinking about your AI strategy at a company level, at a department level, at a team level, and then the individual role level. Because that kind of breaks it down sort of into the compartments where we can start to solve the problems. And I often think that when you're looking at applying AI or any tool, because we've got to think of AI as a tool for us, that it's really useful to understand what's your goal that you're looking to achieve, what is the problem that you need to solve so that you can get to the goal, and then what's going to be your solution to get there, and how is AI going to fit within that solution. Well, let's have a look at creating a prompt template. We'll just do a really basic one that's aligned to what we've been doing so far. So on the left-hand side is where we create the template. In the middle is where you'll create your app. That's the prompt template that will then automatically appear in the GoTeam ChatGPT bot. And then we have a section on the right here to show its output so we can test it as well. So let's do one. We're going to call it position, description, with KPIs. Okay, let's do that. And you can give it a full description, how you're going to create it, and what it's about. And then we're going to create some fields. So we've got some options fields. We've got an input field, a text area field, a number, and a drop down. When we click on input, you'll notice that now we have a input field automatically available for us. We don't need to do any PHP or JavaScript or anything like that. And it's available. But it says label and then what's this field. Now down here, it also says label and what's this field, and that's where we can change it. So we're going to start by just putting position. Let's change it to that there. And oops. I took out the brackets, so I'll add the brackets back in. Position, you'll notice that it now says position up here. And where it says what's this field with a question mark, you could put enter position. And now that is happening, so it's giving us the guidance of what to put in. And we might think what to do next. And so we got position. You could put, like we did earlier, years experience could be one that we could have in there. Years experience. And you could also update that field. I need to zoom in a bit for my eyes. Okay. And I hope that zoom in helps you as well. And then what's this position? Same thing. We can just put years experience in there. And with that one, we can then go on to the next item. And then you could just put like an open text area, important requirements or something like that. And then that could give you guidance. So you can keep adding items. You could put drop downs in and so forth. Now what happens after this is we need to create a prompt. And so here is where we're going to put some more information in. Now I could type, and I could certainly bore you all as you watch me type, and I'm thinking of talking to you and typing and can only do one thing at once. Or alternatively, I could just speak to the AI, right? I'm on a Mac today, and I've set mine up to do some translation for me. So let's do that. Please act as a professional recruiter and job position description writer. We are looking to hire a person in the position of, and I'll stop it there, and in the position of, and I'll use the label down here now, the position, and click on position. Now, by putting that there, what will happen is later on in the template, it's going to insert or inject that particular portion of the prompt into the overall master prompt. So this is how you build out your prompt templates. And then you could add on here after, check any changes, okay. We are looking for someone with a minimum, and I'll put years of experience. Years of experience. And then finally, we're going to put in here other important requirements. And a little fix on this one. Other important requirements. Hey, Jace, our live stream manager's just like, he's down here fixing the cable because it's not displaying on your screens anymore, I would say. And this is why we test. Chances are Matt kicked a cable under the table. Is that right? Yeah, that's what Matt did again, which we've been doing in our internal testing. And now he's done it again. Yeah, okay, great. So I'll keep going even if you can't see the screen. So what I'm doing now is just finalizing that prompt itself. And so this is also your opportunity to put in that final one, which is the other important requirements. And we might say, please also consider. And then finally, you might just say thank you. It's always a good way. Now, what I'd like to do is a bit of testing. I'm going to put this in a category of people for us, and I can keep it private for the moment. I'm not going to publish it. Now, what's really useful when you're creating templates is don't think that you need to get it right the first time. Create it, run it, add a bit, just like you would do multi-shot prompting when you're using ChatGPT. I think it's better to just get it done and then refine than it is to go for trying to get a perfect outcome. That will just slow you down too much. So let's create it. And as that's created, it's now been saved and we can now run it and see what it looks like. So I'm going to put executive assistant and years of experience 5, and I'm going to put calendar management. It's important. Calendar management and spelling, so I don't have to worry about it. Hello, dyslexia. And then I'll click on generate, and let's see what comes out for us. And there we go. Position executive assistant, experience minimum 5 years, position summary, responsibilities, qualifications. Now we can prompt it further and tell it to put in bullet points and do the structure of the formatting and so forth. That's over to you now to get it started. Now it should also add the cool thing here is it will also be available in our chatbot for us now. So if I head on over to our templates and go to people, and there it is, position description with KPIs, and it's available for me to use. I'll show you using it here as well. So let's do executive assistant, and we'll do 2 years experience. And other important requirements, travel booking. Let's put in travel booking as an example. Okay, and now we use that prompt. Are we sure? Yeah, we're totally sure. And off it goes. And you'll notice that over here, we've got a bit more formatting prompts in the background in the chatbot itself versus what you'll see over on the web. And job description, executive assistant. Okay, as a professional recruiter, I understand the importance of finding the right fit for the role. Fantastic. Responsibilities, requirements, qualifications, skills, and abilities, experience. I might say, hey, that's great. Great, thank you. You really saved me time. Always be polite to the AI. Do you know why? You know why? Well, first of all, how you speak to someone, often it gets reflected back, right? So if you're actually being nice and kind and considerate, you're going to get it back to you. But the other thing is, one day these machines are going to be in charge. So you better be nice to them now, because if they remember everything, you'll be in trouble if you're not going to be polite. So be polite to the machines. Okay, thank you. Really saved time. Please expand this with some KPIs for this role. And one of the reasons to add in KPIs or metrics is that we firmly believe at GoTeam that everyone deserves to feel like they're winning. And it's really hard to win if you don't know what the metrics of the game are. And so when we can clarify expectations in advance around KPIs, then it gives us a structured and measured opportunity to execute. Now, what you'll see here are, there we go, percentage of calendar disruptions due to proactive management, meeting schedule adherence, and timely preparation of meeting materials. Now that could add on to helping you to further think of some ideas. Now, one I've got here is that, well, around those meeting schedules, I really like to see the agenda is always put in advance, or any complementary documents are also uploaded. So you could then go and add those ideas. And so this gets you started. It prompts your own brain to make it easy to go on and extend. Now, by now, you've probably gathered that I could talk for days on the topic of AI. And one day we might do a 24-hour marathon, see how far I can go without falling over. Jace, our live stream manager, I'm going to check with you now. How are we going for our live stream test? Should we bring this one to an end? We'll keep going. Sure, we can keep going. And we do need to do our other Discover You session testing though. So let me know, 5 more minutes? How much? It depends on how much testing you've got to do on your end. Let me know. Okay, cool. All right, well, if you're all good, then I'll close us out. And I'll say thank you for everyone that watched today on our live stream test. We really appreciate you. I certainly hope that during this period you've had a look at a few things and got a few ideas as well. We've spoken about large language models. We've spoken about prompt engineering. You've seen how AI can be infused into a product with more advanced prompting to really save you time. You've looked at how to create a template. And in our upcoming live streams, what you'll be able to do too is once you get your hands on the GoTeam toolset, you'll be able to actually follow along. Many of our workshops, our sessions are in fact workshops that we'll be bringing to you either live from our Better Together studio, either this one here in the Philippines or our other one in Indonesia as well. And as we bring these sessions to you, one thing's for sure, they're going to keep bringing more and more ideas that are going to help you apply AI at work. And we'd love to hear from you. In fact, in many of our sessions, we'll use Slido as a way that you can respond to us live during the sessions, and you can vote on the questions and we'll be able to prioritize those. What's also great about any questions that you share is it gives us ideas on additional content that we can create for you. What else are you going to see on our AI-powered people show coming up in the near future? You're also going to see interviews with AI experts or tool builders, people who've actually built software applications. You're going to see those come and join us. We'll showcase the software of tools that we think are really high value for helping you to scale and exceed in your businesses. And we'll also do like some case studies as well. But we're definitely going to get hands-on. Each week you're going to see, once we officially go live, you're going to see our workshops of how to actually apply AI, and in many cases using our tools as well as other companies' tools as well. And on the overall channel, we'll also have any of those live streams will be available for you to play back later. And then we'll have extra special straight up training or onboarding style videos also. We are the home of AI powered people here at GoTeam, and this is your channel specifically for how to apply AI at work. My name's Matt Kesby, founder and chief AI officer at GoTeam. Super excited to bring you more. Remember, I got to say, like and subscribe to our channel so you can keep updated with notifications. And turn on the bell too for notifications so you know what's going on. And soon you'll be able to even download our GoTeam app to your computer and join us in a Netflix-like experience for all of our shows, our series, and access the live stream there as well. So from everyone here at GoTeam, there's a very special ritual that we always have when we finish off a meeting or a time together. It is called the GoTeam Power Clap. It's where we lift our hands up in the air and we do a single clap. We say a GoTeam Power Clap on 3, 1, 2, 3, a clap, and then a GoTeam. And our theme this year is engage. So we say engage, engage, engage to close it out. So let's do it together. Lift up your hands and we have a GoTeam Power Clap on 3, 1, 2, 3. GoTeam! Engage, engage, engage! Have a wonderful time. See you on the next one.